Over the last couple of years, I've made a few videos about looking at really cheap land in Arizona and Colorado, and I've had a lot of fun looking at those properties and thinking about what I would do if I had a cheap piece of land like that, but I didn't pull the trigger until I found this spot. This is the half acre that Cassie and I bought recently in Utah. So this is half an acre in northeastern Utah. It's only about 2.5 hours from where we live in southwestern Wyoming, which was one of the big reasons we wanted to buy this versus something in Arizona or Colorado, which is a long, long drive away. And look how pretty it is. Look at these beautiful juniper trees. They're just all over the place here. There are three things I love about this property. The first is that it was cheap. I'll talk about the price in a minute. The second is that it is quiet. And the third is that it has views. At the southern edge of the property, there are some little badlands that I'll show you in a minute right here. So the property slopes down, giving us fantastic views of the surrounding country. Isn't that nice? Isn't that pretty? There are a couple of houses in the area. Let's see, I'll show you. Yeah, you can see both of them right there. But apart from that, people use this area to camp and to store things like boats, cars, campers. You can see one camper right there. You can see another one right there. And then you can see some civilization, such as it is over there. That is the town of Roosevelt. It's only about 20 minutes from where we are. Pretty nice, huh? So, how much did it cost? I think looking back at the other videos that I've filmed, the cheapest ones were like $1,500 or $2,000, and they went up to $5,000, $10,000, I think even like $20,000. This was $3,150 plus a $150 document fee. So $3,300 all in. And I'm really happy with that. I think we got a pretty good deal here. So why was this land so cheap? Well, it's kind of junk land. And let me explain what I mean by that. So in this area, you need 1 acre to pull a permit and build an actual house or like a real building. And so these little half-acre lots aren't really worth much because you can't really do much with them except camp and maybe, you know, store your boat or whatever. Second, this lot in particular is kind of hard to access. There is a road here. There are actually a couple of little dirt roads here, but they're not very good. Let me show you what I mean over this way. This right here is the road that you have to drive to get up to the property. The property is up there, and it's not exactly flat. It's a little bit steep. It's not quite as steep as it looks when you're down there where the camera is. Like you stand there and you look up this way and you think, holy cow, I could never drive up that. It's not quite that bad. I've driven up here in both the RAV4 and the Land Cruiser, so both of my cars can make it. I think Cassie's Highlander could make it. You just have to be a little bit adventurous with your driving. Here's another shot looking at it in profile, looking at it from the side. And so it's steep, but you know, it's doable. And again, not quite as intimidating as it looks when you're down there. This area is called the Uinta Basin. The towns of Roosevelt, which is just over here, Vernal, which is the largest town in this area, and then Duchesne and a bunch of other small towns. They're all in the Uinta Basin. This area is a known hotspot for strange phenomena, for UFOs, for Bigfoot, for all kinds of unexplained things. You may have heard of Skinwalker Ranch. There's even a TV show on the History Channel called, I think, The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch. That's only like 10 miles from here. That's over here, kind of on the other side of Roosevelt, not too far away. I even saw this area, the Uinta Basin, called the UFO capital of the world. There have been thousands of sightings in this area. By some estimates, about half of the residents in this area have seen strange things in the sky. And apparently the most common unidentified flying object is these balls of light that hover and move around in the sky. So pretty interesting stuff. Over the next however long we have this land, year or 2 or 5 or 10, I don't know how long, we're gonna be on the lookout for anything strange, anything unexplained in the skies here. We've actually had the property for about 6 months, but we haven't done anything with it yet. I haven't shown it to you on the channel because, well, it's been winter and the access roads are not really conducive to visiting here in winter. But before the snows fell last year, I did put a couple of trail cameras out. There's this little guy right here. That's your kind of standard trail cam. That's the kind that you put batteries and an SD card into, and it records any motion. And then there's this other one right here. You can see the little solar panel on it. So it's solar powered, and this is cellular, so I can basically live stream the view from this spot while I'm at home. And so the trail cameras have been running for about 6 months, and you know, I thought that we would get like deer, or at least some larger animals here, because I think this is deer scat, right? Or maybe not. Someone let me know, someone who's more knowledgeable about animal poop than I am. What is this? And I just mentioned that because we didn't get any deer on either of the webcams. We got about 1 billion rabbits, lots and lots and lots of rabbits. We got quite a few birds, and then strangely there were several cats, like domestic cats, like half a dozen different cats. I don't know where they're coming from. I mean, there are some people who, you know, live and camp out here, so I guess they belong to those people, but yeah, that was kind of a shock. That was the fauna, and as far as the flora goes, there are a lot of juniper trees. Look at all of these beautiful trees. I haven't seen any pinyon trees. You know, usually you see pinyon and juniper trees together, but not on our little property here. And then we have lots of yucca, and there's prickly pear and these little grassy looking tufts. I don't know what these are, and then these other little plants with these pretty little yellow flowers on there that I can't identify. There's this little patch of Mormon tea right here, and apparently you can make a sort of tea out of this stuff. I think that would be fun to do at some point in the future. And then we have exactly one, at least I've only seen one, of these guys. I think this is a hedgehog cactus. So why did we buy this, and what's the plan going forward? Well, we bought this because I thought it would be fun, basically. I thought it would be fun to A, make videos here, and B, just spend time here. I really like this area. We're about 30 minutes to the National Forest over in that direction, and about 30 minutes to BLM land in that direction. I come through this area a lot to fish. I have a fishing channel called Tenkara Addict, if you didn't know that. In fact, I spent all of earlier today fishing up in the mountains up there, up in the Uintas. So this is kind of a good little, I don't know, little fishing campsite for me. And then as far as what we're gonna do here, that's a little bit up in the air still. My plan is to build a little cabin here. Now, when I say cabin, I want you to think of the smallest shack you've ever seen and make it even smaller. I'm talking about like a small shed, like the size of a piece of plywood or even smaller, a very small thing, basically big enough for a chair and a little camp bed. So it's probably gonna be on wheels. I can move it around the area here. I could put it here on this spot where the chair is, or there's a nice open spot right here. Or let me show you this little nook in the trees over this way. This spot is surrounded by trees on 3 sides, so I could put a little camp bathroom here, or, you know, just have a little picnic table, or I don't know. Basically, I want to make a campsite here. I'm not going to do anything too permanent. Even the little cabin is going to be very cheap. I'll be able to you know, move it around. Like I said, I'm probably going to build it at home and then take it apart, put it in the Land Cruiser and bring it here in pieces to build it. Again, think of it as a mobile shed, and that's about what I think I'm going to be doing. And here's looking out from the little tree nook. Isn't that cool? I love it. So I think that'll just about wrap it up here as I enjoy the view, enjoy the breeze. That's one other thing, it's very windy in this area. I've been through here a couple times in the last few weeks, and it's been so windy, incredibly windy. So that's something else we're gonna have to contend with in the future while we're here. But I'm gonna wrap up this video because I'm about to start recording a second video right now where I set up an actual campsite here and I spend my first night on the property. We're gonna make our first improvements to the land. It's gonna be fun, but I don't have a ton of daylight left. It'll be dark in like an hour and 10 minutes, so we need to wrap this up. But yeah, I love it. What do you guys think? Again, just a fun spot to make videos, make memories, have a good time. I'm interested in hearing what you guys think about it. So let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you have any suggestions for the land here. And I'll see you in the next one. Be sure to check out Adventure Know-How, my new site, where you can gain access to a map of all of my free campsites, plus monthly bonus videos that you won't find anywhere else. Learn more at adventureknowhow.com. And for links to everything else SUV RVing related, visit suvrving.com. Links to these sites and more will be in the video description.